A coach and his players. It's a special bond. Jeremy Gunn understands that all too well. In 2006, upon arriving in Charlotte, Gunn sought out a player he watched grow as a young teenager on the West Coast. Isaac Caughran, better known on the team as Ike, became a key member of Gunn's first recruiting class with the 49ers.
Yeah, when I arrived at Charlotte, I had very heavy ties with Colorado because I'd been there 8 years, and so I knew of Ike growing up as a great player, and I'd watched his Colorado Rush team play very well. And so, we were very active recruiting out of Colorado that first year when I was looking at players. Ike caught our eye just with his wonderful intensity, his great work rate, and he was a very, very accomplished soccer player. And probably what separated him apart, though, was just his a little bit about what was inside of him, in that he was a true competitor. I think you see lots of good athletes, lots of good soccer players, but sometimes they don't always quite possess the same competitive edge. And when we recruited Ike, a big part of that reason was because we knew he wanted to be a winner.
Ike started all but one game in his first 2 seasons at Charlotte. Tallying goals and assists from the midfield position, coming into his junior campaign, he seemed poised to help take the 49ers the next step in the NCAA tournament. Then, as happens all the time in sports, one moment in the very first game of the season put that competitive edge to the test.
We were playing Greensboro. It was about 20 minutes into the first half. I was playing well, had a chance probably 5 minutes before I got hurt. And their left back took a touch to the outside of his body, and I went to step to him. And it was almost like my foot stayed on the ground and my knee moved.
He kind of stepped forward for a tackle, and his leg went forward when his body actually stayed in the same spot. And that twisting action, it tear your ACL. He tore his ACL and a little bit of his meniscus.
When he fell, it was one of those unusual falls where there wasn't really any physical contact, and they're the ones you dread the most, because when somebody collapses in a heap, and it's not through an actual physical challenge, it's just from a bit of a knock and then your knee goes funny. At the time, you never know until you get MRIs and things, but you kind of do, and it was like, uh-oh, we're in trouble here.
And I knew it the minute I did it. I went to the ground, and there's a rush of emotions and sadness and stuff like that.
It was a pretty devastating day for us, but I knew for Ike it would be the end.
To no one's surprise, after surgery, months of rehab, and torturous nights of sitting in the stands as a cheerleader and not a player, Ike battled back.
Ike was it's like a machine, what me and Gunn call him.
We kind of joke about him being a bit superhuman, because he just takes it in his stride and just comes back fitter and stronger than ever.
If anything, I'd actually say the injury was kind of a blessing in disguise. I think a lot of guys, their junior year kind of just floats by, and then they're seniors and they're like, oh, and they need to pick it up. So I had a year to kind of sit back. Unfortunately, I was in the stands a lot of times just watching the game, but I learned a lot through just watching, and really kind of motivated me a lot more, kind of got my mind right and knew what I was pushing for, and kind of worked out for the best, I think.
Got the swelling out, went to strengthening, and then when he got his full strength back, swelling gone, range of motion back, we started to jogging and stuff like that. And he just did everything I asked, to agility, plyometrics, functional testing, and came back. In the spring, we were just let him go.
It really is a big test of character for any individual in any type of sport, where you then get put in the environment, you're training every day, you're rehabbing every day, and nobody's looking, and it feels like nobody cares, even though we really do care. But when you're training day in, day out on the field with the players, in front of the coaches, you always know that you're proving something. You always know that you're out there in front of an audience. But rehabbing from an ACL injury, it's a lonely place. What was absolutely incredible about him was that all the way through the process, he was one of those people that it was always, okay, let's keep holding him back, don't let him do too much. He just pushed and pushed and pushed.
Ike pushed towards September 4th, 2011, almost a year to the day that he was lost for the season. Ike returned to the field.
And here's something that 49ers fans have been waiting to see. Isaac Caughran coming into the game. After last year, he suffered a torn ACL, and he's finally made his way back. First action of the season.
It's definitely one of those little things that you take for granted when you're playing every game, and you just kind of go out there, go through the motions and do whatever. But I really kind of took in the moment, and it was nice to have my parents and friends and family there, and
I can't remember the exact things, but I know somewhere along the line we just let him know it was really exciting to have him back, and that and that he was playing because he deserved it. It wasn't because of our wonderful emotions from where he was a year ago. It was because he deserved to be on the field right now, and he'd given up a lot of distance to great players, but he'd caught them up and he was pushing, and he was just somebody that we want on the field.
I was glad to see that I didn't completely fall out of the team scheme, and they respected what I've done before I got injured, and they respected everything I did while I was injured to get back to where I was. And when Gunn named me the captain before the Winthrop game, I was ecstatic. Wish I could be out there for that game, but unfortunately I wasn't. And it's just nice to know that I can be their leader for such a good group of guys.
Obviously we don't want to throw him in 90 minutes right away, but we wanted to progressively put him in, and then we know that he's the type of player that's going to start because he's a leader and he's a machine. Like I said, he's going to score goals. He's going to make goals happen.
You know, the goal he scored the other night, it was a perfect goal for him to be scoring. It's not going to be on any highlight reels as far as incredible shots or anything, but he was part of the build-up. He got rid of the ball and got himself in front of goal and found the right place at the right time. Something that he does exceptionally well. He did it in the spring when he was recovering. He scored a couple of great goals then. And we know he'll be there to score some more goals for us down the stretch this season.